Hi everyone, welcome to our first class in the course Electronic Business. Our topic for today is Introduction to Electronic Business. And at the end of this class, students should be able to define and explain the meaning of uh, electronic business and how it differs from electronic commerce. Identify points of overlap between electronic business and electronic commerce. 3. Identify and explain types of electronic businesses. 4. Understand the factors that triggered or fueled electronic business as we have it today. And finally, students should be able to understand and explain the benefits of electronic business to both firms and customers. Now, let's begin with the meaning and nature of electronic business. According to the IBM's website, electronic business is defined as the concept of transforming key business activities through the use of internet technologies. Electronic business can also be defined as the use of internet to network and empower business processes, electronic commerce, organizational communication, and collaboration within a company and with its customers, suppliers, and other stakeholders. To put it bluntly, e-businesses utilize internet, intranet, extranet, and other networks to support commercial processes. Now, let us look at the meaning of e-commerce. According to the European Union's website, e-commerce is a concept dealing with any form of business transaction or information exchange executed using ICT, that's information and communication technology. And this could be between organizations, it could be between organizations and their customers, or between organizations and public administrations, such as government agencies or NGOs. Let us look at now the differences between electronic business and electronic commerce. And this is detailed in this figure here. You can see that e-commerce is limited to things like buying and selling, whereas e-business, you can see, includes internal processes within the organization. Now, we use the tabular presentation to uh, capture this distinction. And at the left-hand side, we have electronic business, and at the right-hand side, there is e-commerce. So e-commerce, or rather e-business, is a term used for doing all types of commercial transactions through the internet, whereas e-commerce is the practice of conducting business operations and transactions through the internet. E-business requires intranet, extranet, and internet, whereas e-commerce only requires internet. Now, under e-business, there is unlimited transactions, but e-commerce is limited. Electronic business encompasses internal and external activities, whereas e-commerce is only limited to outward or external activities. So that's activities dealing with customers. Electronic business involves both monetary and non-monetary operations, whereas e-commerce is limited to monetary operations. The final point of distinction is that e-business refers to the online presence of the business, whereas e-commerce refers to buying, selling, and online transactions. Let us look at the key highlights in those distinctions. The first one is that e-commerce is limited to buying and selling, and this is facilitated by the internet and other electronic tools. However, e-business is broader in scope, much broader in scope than this. E-business has a broader range of processes that incorporate internal transactions within an organization, and these include procurement, logistics, supply chain management, payments, stock control, and order tracking. Electronic business utilizes three things like we mentioned before: internet, intranet, extranet, and other different or other networks to support their commercial processes. However, e-commerce is only limited to buying and selling, marketing and servicing of products and services via computer networks. To summarize all of this, we can say that e-business is broader in scope than e-commerce. In fact, e-business is a component or subset of e-business. Let us look at the similarities between the two concepts. As we would have understood by now, electronic commerce is different from e-business, but it is a subset of electronic business. But since e-business includes the process of transacting with suppliers and customers, there is an overlap in activities with electronic commerce. Three of these similarities could be identified. Number one, both of them have almost the same business model. Number two, both models have a service-oriented website. And three, both models may focus on customer interactions for the purpose of generating revenue. Types of electronic business and related industries. If you look at the diagram that we have here, or the figure we have here, you see that there are four variants of electronic business, and each of these variants talks about who initiates the transaction. Let's look at them one after another. Business to business. This refers to a business arrangement between two businesses. One business initiates the interaction or the transaction, whereas the other business responds. Two, business to consumers or business to consumer, B2C. Here, a business initiates the transaction or the communication and the customer responds. It is like sending market signals by organizations, and consumers are responding in terms of sales, subscriptions, and so on and so forth. Three, consumer to consumer. Apart from businesses initiating interactions, consumers can actually interact among themselves. One consumer initiates the interaction, whereas other consumers respond. Consumers can also initiate interaction with businesses, and when this happens, it is called consumer to business interaction, and this is C2B. Factors that fueled e-business. There are three key factors. One of them is economic factor, and the greatest economic factor of note here is economic efficiency, and this is achieved by decreasing communication costs, faster and more economic electronic transactions with suppliers, lower global information sharing and advertising costs, and cheaper customer service alternatives. Factor number two is market and customer interaction factors. Organizations are encouraged to use e-business in product promotion and marketing to capture international markets. In fact, with e-business, organizations can spread their tentacles beyond the local market and then target international world consumers. The internet is used as a medium for improving customer service and support. The internet also keeps the internet helps companies to provide their target consumers with detailed product and service information. Factor number three is technology factor, and the main factor in terms of technology that has enhanced the growth of e-business is ICT. Now, information and communication technology play a very important role in digitalizing content, compression and promotion of open systems for the convergence of communication services into one single platform. All of this means that there is a convergence in communication tools that is enabling e-business to happen. And this has led to a setup of separate networks for cable television, television broadcast, telephone services, and it has eliminated the need for internet access. Benefits of electronic business to organization. Number one, global reach. Away from your local market, you can as well reach consumers in international markets. Number two, reduction in paper costs. When firms have electronic data interchange system, they can actually eliminate the cost of printing, storing, and retrieving information. Number three, customization of product and services. With electronic business, it has become easier for firms to tailor make products and services to their customers. Reduce product cycle time. The production teams electronically share design specification and refinement processes over the internet to reduce the production cycle time. 5. Improve customer service. With electronic business platforms, firms can begin to improve services to their customers. For instance, so many banks in Nigeria now have social media handles through which they render services and resolve customer complaints. 6. Lower sales and marketing costs. With electronic business, firms can lower their cost of sales and marketing. 7. Faster access to information. Firms are now having faster access to information than ever before. Let us look at the benefit of electronic business to customers. Number one, increased choice of vendors and products. With electronic business, so many businesses are now in existence and customers have many choices or many products of vendors to choose from. Number two is convenience of shopping. At the comfort of their home, consumers can place orders for products and services and have the same rendered to them at their doorsteps. More competitive prices and increased price comparison capabilities. Informations are now widespread over the internet and consumers are having the opportunities to compare prices of different companies before making purchases. 4. Variety in product and services. They now have so many choices to choose from. Greater customization in the delivery of services. Customers can now demand the way and manner in which services and products should be delivered to them. 6. Access to greater amount of information on demand. On the move, wherever they are, consumers can obtain any information about the product or services of a particular company without limitation in terms of location. 7. Quick delivery of digitalized products and services. Products that are digital in form, such as music, software, can be instantly delivered once they are purchased by the consumers. Number 8, virtual auctions. With electronic businesses, consumers can engage themselves in auction services without physically meeting each other. In fact, the number one auction site is eBay. Before we end this class for today, a recap of what we have discussed. We have looked at the meaning and nature of electronic commerce and how it differs we've looked at the meaning and the nature of electronic business and how it differs from electronic commerce. We've also looked at points of overlap between these two concepts. We've looked at types of electronic businesses and related industries, and we looked at the factors that trigger e-business. And finally, we also discussed the benefits of electronic business to both organizations and customers. Thank you, and see you in our next class.